What's going on YouTube? This is Austin here from Austin, Dakota, coming at you again with another video for you guys tonight. And tonight, it's been a while since I've last done a rock and metal CD collection update, so I'm going to do one tonight. This is my rock and metal CD collection update for March 11th, 2024. Big ups to Andres Landros who suggested this. Channel link for them in the description. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to crack on with this video. So first album that I'm going to show is by a band that I absolutely love, and that band is Autopsy, and the album I got from them is their debut album, Severed Survival. This came out in 1989. First of all, great album. First off, classic in the genre of death metal. It does have different cover art in this comparative to this, but I prefer the actual cover art, not the censored stuff. Yeah, love it. Love this album. Everything about this album I love, except the case is broke. So yeah, here is that alternative cover art, and here's the disc. Really good album. Chris Redfield, obviously the legend, the man, the myth, the legend himself. I mean, Charred Remains, Service for a Vacant Coffin, Gasping for Air, title track. Love this album. So definitely check this one out. Autopsy with Severed Survival, released in 1989. Alright, sticking with Autopsy, I have their album Ashes, Organs, Blood, and Crypts. This was the very first Autopsy album I ever bought. Obviously Autopsy, like I said, legends in death metal. This one came out last year. They don't hold back the punches on this album. However, the album itself, it's not in your face as the first two. So that would be Severed Survival and Mental Funeral. Like I said, it's not in your face like the first two, but this one's kind of in your face. But this album kind of shows that Autopsy still has it, in my opinion, and they still do. I can't wait to see what this year holds for them. Hopefully another album, 'cause I would love to see that. I mean, Rabid Funeral, to start things off, great. No Mortal Left Alive. Self-titled track, Bones to the Wolves. Lobotomizing Gods, Throat Saw. I love Throat Saw. The second, the guy, or the lead singer, Chris Redfield, he yells, "Throat Saw!" and it breaks in. Incredible. Well of Entrails is still my favorite track off this album. Love this album. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Autopsy with Ashes, Organs, Blood, and Crypts, released in 2023, so just last year. One of the heaviest to date. Alright, next album is actually one that you probably have seen before in many rock CD collections. This I just happened to get because I love this artist. Don't mind the stickers, I didn't get it for this price, but I was lucky enough to find it, and that album is Bruce Springsteen. This is his album, Born in the USA. Album released in 1984. This is just a classic, of course. Everyone should know who Bruce Springsteen is. If you don't know who he is, I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, Born in the USA, Glory Days, my favorite track off this album, Dancing in the Dark. Some of my favorite Bruce Springsteen material is on this album. Like I said, just an absolute legend. This was a big album for him. If you're able to track down a copy of this album, definitely pick it up and check it out. Bruce Springsteen with Born in the USA, released in 1984. Great stuff. Alright, next album is an album that I've been wanting to get by this band or this project for quite a while, considering I'm a huge fan of this guy, Varg Vikernes, and I'm talking about his project, Burzum. This is his album, Det Som En Gang Var. Little sleeve it's in. There you go. Love this album. This is a really good album. Obviously the song Key to the Gate was my introduction to Burzum. If I had to be honest, the first 4 Burzum albums are the best Burzum. So that'd be Self-Titled, this album, Vis Lyset Taros, and Philosophen. Of course, you had the Aske EP thrown in there. The first album was kind of more thrashy. This one is just straight up black metal. The song Key to the Gate really sealed the deal for me. If I had to be quite honest, this is probably my favorite Burzum album. Or at least my favorite for content. Sorry for the glare. But, Key to the Gate and Lost Wisdom are the only 2 songs in English. The rest are in Norwegian. Some of you guys may agree with Varg's politics. I sure as heck don't. But obviously everyone should know Varg Vikernes. Obviously he did Mayhem. He was with Mayhem at one point. And then he did his own project. I believe this came out in 92. I don't know. There's no year on this, but I would definitely recommend this. This is a great album. Definitely check this out. Burzum with Det Som En Gang Var, released in 92, I think. If I'm wrong, someone let me know in the comments. So yeah, I love Burzum. Varg knew how to write a tune, and he was able to captivate the audience, as well as a whole bunch of other black metal bands as well. Cheers. Alright. Got a lot to talk about here. Alright, next album is by a popular Norwegian band. When you think of this band, you immediately think of their black metal stuff. But no, before they even became black metal, they were death metal. And I'm talking about these guys right here, Darkthrone. This is the debut album, Soulside Journey, 1991. One of my most sought after albums. Not a lot of people know this, but when Darkthrone first came out, they were death metal. This is a death metal album. This is when they were death metal. And then fast forward to A Blaze in the Northern Sky, they made that transition from death metal to black metal. So then you had the obvious Unholy Trinity, Blaze in the Northern Sky, Under a Funeral Moon, and Transylvanian Hunger, with Transylvanian Hunger being my favorite out of the bunch. Then Panzerfaust on, they were kind of switching their sound a little bit. They went for like a more black and roll sound, crust, even going into a punk phase. It wasn't bad. The early Darkthrone stuff is just incredible, and this happens to be a early Darkthrone album. Would have been very, very interesting if they stuck being a death metal band and didn't make that transition to black metal. It would have been very interesting. People say the second album, A Blaze in the Northern Sky, has got some death metal tints in it. I don't think so. That's when they were making that transition. I mean, Cromlech, Sunrise Over Locust Mortis, self-titled track, Nor the Silent Whispers, Grave with a View being my favorite track. Yeah, I love this album. Definitely give this album a listen, and then go to their black metal stuff if you're not familiar with Darkthrone already. But definitely check this out. Darkthrone with Soulside Journey, released in 1991. Their album, Astral Fortress, was actually my favorite album in 2022. And they haven't released anything since then. Darkthrone, come on, I'm waiting on a new album. Next album is by a thrash metal band where if I was to put them in the big four, I would 100%. And it's based off this album alone. I would. I'm talking about Exodus. This is their debut album, Bonded by Blood, released in 1989. 1985, excuse me. The big four thrash metal is Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica, and Slayer. Out of the four, Slayer is my favorite out of the big four. But if I had to take one band out and put Exodus in, I'd probably say Anthrax. Not Anthrax, Metallica. Because Metallica, after the first few albums, abandoned their thrash metal roots. But yeah, this is a good album. I like this one, however, it's not as good as Fabulous Disaster. Fabulous Disaster's got my favorite Exodus song on it, The Toxic Waltz. Not saying this album is bad, I like this album. This is a very good album. Good start to their career. But I'd recommend it. I mean, Bonded by Blood, and then there were none. Molested in Violence. My favorite track is Deliver Us to Evil. Yeah, definitely thrash metal legends here. If you haven't heard this, definitely check this out. Exodus with Bonded by Blood, released in 1989. Very good stuff. Alright, next album. I'm probably going to get a little bit of hate here, but I'm a Five Finger Death Punch fan through and through. Have been, always will be. I own most of their stuff, but this is one of their albums I own, and that would be Afterlife, their 9th album, released in 2022. Yep. They're releasing a digital deluxe edition to this album with some new songs on it, some acoustic stuff. Even an unreleased song they did with DMX. Can't wait for that to come out. A lot of people like to crap on Five Finger Death Punch just because of Ivan's past, but here's the thing. Ivan, he cleaned up. He got himself clean. He got himself sober. He didn't let the darkness settle in. So good for him. I'm very proud of Ivan. For making that comeback. Now the previous version I had was actually clean. So here's the disc. So I got rid of that, and I got this. This is the edition you want. Love this album. So freaking good. This album, Patient Number 9, and Darkthrone's Astral Fortress were my three favorites from 2022. Singles off this album are Afterlife, Judgment Day, IOU, and Times Like These. It's very hard to pick a favorite track off this album, but definitely give this a listen if you haven't. Five Finger Death Punch with Afterlife, released in 2022. Definitely check it out. Alright, next album I've been trying to get for a while, and it is an album by Metallica, who I mentioned earlier, and that album would be Metallica with their second full-length, titled Ride the Lightning, released in 1984. Obviously a classic album. Everyone and their mother should have this album. I don't mind a digipack release. If you're gonna release a remaster like this, release it like how Afterlife was. As you can see, I can open up the middle. The booklet's right here and the CD's right here. Or release it like a Monomarth's Berserker. Do it that way. Don't do it like this. It's not, no. I don't like it. I don't like how the way it's set up. Makes me want to get a first pressing of this album. But other than that, glad to have the remaster. Classic album, obviously. I mean, Fight Fire with Fire, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Creeping Death, Trapped Under Ice being my favorite track, and Fate's Black, which is obviously my second favorite. Love this album. This album's a classic. Definitely check this album out. Metallica, in my opinion, have been hit and miss Their album 72 Seasons was on my end of the year list for 2023. Very excited to see what 24 has in store for them. I hope with Metallica they return to their Kill 'Em All, kind of Ride the Lightning roots. Bring back that thrash metal sound that we all know and loved from the first 4 albums, before they strayed away from their thrash metal roots on their 5th album, which I believe was the self-titled. It's either their 5th or their 4th. Their 5th, I think, was the Black Album. But yeah, definitely check this album out. It's a classic, of course. Metallica with Ride the Lightning, released in 1984. Alright, sticking with Metallica, I know I kind of cracked the case to this. That was my own dang fault, but oh well. What can you do? It's still good, though. And I am talking about Load, released in 1996. This would be the band's yeah, this would be their 6th album. I like this. I don't see why not a lot of people don't like it. But, they were still kind of in their thrash metal roots, but they abandoned it at the same time. Still, though, good stuff on here. I mean, King Nothing, The House Jack Built, A-My-B-T-I-C-H, 2x4. Yeah. Very fortunate to have this album. I'm very happy to have Load. I know the album art. Everyone knows about the album art and all that, but it's just an album. Get over it. But yeah, Metallica with Load, released in 1996. I don't know what their last good album was. People say Injustice for All and all that was their last good one. I love the Black Album. That album is easily my favorite. I think the first 5 Metallica albums are the best. Okay, definitely check this out. Metallica with Load, released in 1996. Alright, next album is another album I've been trying to find for a while. And I was very, very fortunate to find this album. And that album would be Morbid Angel, with their album Ultras of Madness. This came out in 1989. Obviously the 80s, big year for metal. Mainly 1989, because you had this album and you had Autopsy Severed Survival released that same year. So yeah, good stuff on here, man. I love this album. But however, I think this album, Blessed Are the Sick, and Covenant are their 3 best. Nothing wrong with the later stuff. I have Gateways to Annihilation. That came out in 2000. Now, while I like Gateways to Annihilation, I think the early Morbid Angel stuff is better. Gateways to Annihilation doesn't have David Vincent on lead vocals. And him playing bass, obviously. Yeah, I mean, everyone should know Morbid Angel. If you don't, give this album a listen. Very thrashy, evil-sounding stuff. I would recommend this album a lot. I mean, Chapel of Ghouls, Maze of Torment, Immortal Rights to start things off, great stuff. Bleed for the Devil, Blasphemy, a lot of great stuff on here, man. Definitely check this album out. Morbid Angel with Altars of Madness, released in 1989. Great stuff. Alright, next album. This one was a blind buy. I mean, I was familiar with one of the bands, but I wasn't familiar with this band. And that album would be, it's really a split. This is Morbid/Mayhem with a tribute to the Black Emperors. Morbid, I don't know much about. I don't know if this is the same Morbid that put out December Moon. But I do know Mayhem. I know Mayhem. This is the same Mayhem that had Dead on lead vocals, known for De Mysteriis Dom Satanas, Death Crush, The Live in Leipzig, Live in Zeitz album. Everyone should know who Mayhem is. If you don't find this split, give it a listen. There is some good Mayhem on here. Dead, I believe, does sing on this album. So, it starts off with 4 songs by Morbid, and it transitions to Mayhem. Yeah. Awesome split between these guys. Obviously Morbid, and then Mayhem goes right into The Freezing Moon, my favorite Mayhem song of all time. Definitely check this out. I don't know what year it came out, so that's Morbid and Mayhem with a tribute to the Black Emperors. Alright, next album by an artist that I absolutely love, and it's one that I will never get tired of listening to. Ozzy Osbourne with his 5th album, No Rest for the Wicked. I think this is either his 5th or his 4th. I think the 4th was Ultimate Sin. This is his 5th. Good stuff on here. I mean, Miracle Man, Breaking All the Rules, Bloodbath in Paradise. Yeah, there's some good stuff on here. Like I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I think when I showed Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears, I personally think the first 6 Ozzy albums are good, especially going towards No More Tears, and then coming back with Black Rain, and then Patient Number 9. From what I heard, Ozzy does have plans to make at least one more album. In my opinion, I think Ozzy should just rest. He's done everything there is to do in the rock and metal business. Just an absolute legend. Ozzy Osbourne with No Rest for the Wicked, released in 1988, I believe. Okay, so I just got done commenting or replying back to a YouTuber that said, I said something about this band's song. Well, here, first off, let me hold up the album. Suffocation, Effigy of the Forgotten. This album came out in 1991. He pretty much got mad, saying, or because I said this is their best album, and for me it's my favorite Suffocation album. Reasoning being behind that is because I didn't get into Suffocation until I heard, I think, a specific song off Pierced From Within. I think it was the title track. That was my first song that I heard by Suffocation. But Effigy of the Forgotten was the number 1 sought after album that I wanted by Suffocation. Now don't get me wrong, I think with the Breeding the Spawn and Pierce From Within, those are good albums. They're very heavy, very fast paced, but I think the instrumentalization and the vocals are better on this album. That's just my opinion. Andres Landeros, if you're watching this, help me back me up here. I don't know if you'll agree or disagree, but this still stands. This is my favorite Suffocation album. This is the coup de grace for me. This is a home run. Obviously, Suffocation's changed a whole lot since the last I heard him. But that band cover on the back, I mean, Liege of Inverasy, Infecting the Crypts, especially that beginning part, and then you hear that guttural yell at the beginning. Cremation, Involuntary Slaughter, front to back, amazing stuff. So definitely check this out. Suffocation with Effigy of the Forgotten, released in 1991. Alright. Last album for the update. This is the last album. It's a compilation album. Tell the World, the very best of Ratt. This came out in 2007, I believe. Yeah, Ratt, obviously my favorite glam metal band. I love everything Ratt has done. I don't think they have a single bad album or a single bad song. Like it's a compilation album. Just a shame these guys aren't together anymore. I would have seen at least one more album from these guys. There you go, band picture. I love these guys. These guys are amazing. I mean, Dangerous but Worth the Risk. Start things off. Love and Use a Dirty Jump, which is off Detonator. Way Cool Jr. Round and Round, which is off Out of the Cellar, their debut. Lay It Down off Invasion of Your Privacy. Dance, Slip of the Lip. I love the chorus to that. Slip, slip, slip of the lip. Good stuff on. I love Slip Over the Lip. Shame, Shame, Shame. An MTV Unplugged version of Way Cool Jr., which is great. Yeah, I can listen to this all day long and not get bored. If you can track down the compilation album by Ratt, definitely pick this up. Tell the World, the very best of Ratt, released in 2007. Highly recommend this. Great compilation album, great band. Alright guys, so that's it. That's it for my rock and metal CD collection update for March 11th, 2024. I know I went like almost 30 minutes here, but I want to say thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please comment, like, subscribe down below. Be sure you hit the bell so that way you don't miss any more videos like this in the near future. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.